Hi, my name is Yi Kang. Thanks for having me here today. And I want to talk you and walk you through four economic topics that I think are really relevant to Adeco right now and what they really mean for how we run this business. Here's what I'll be covering today: four topics: the business cycle, Singapore's tax rebate, US tariffs, and behavioral economics. Each one connects directly to decisions we're making at Adeco, so it's not just theory, and there's a practical takeaway for each one. So let's start with topic one. Topic one is about macroeconomy, specifically the business cycle. Before we can talk strategy, we need to understand the environment we're operating in, and there are three numbers I want you to have in your head. The three key indicators are GDP, inflation, and employment. Let me take each one quickly. So GDP is basically the economy's report card, the total value of everything produced in the country. When it's growing, businesses are expanding and people are hiring. Singapore is at around 3.5 growth right now, and that's good news for us. And for inflation, core inflation is around 2.8%, slightly above what MAS is targeting. And the practical effect, our candidates are expecting higher wages. And when wage expectations go up, our clients' budget gets squeezed. We need to be having that conversation with clients now, not after the fact. And unemployment, Singapore is below 2.5%, near the lowest it's ever been. There just aren't that many candidates out there, and companies are fighting over a small pool of people, and that's exactly why they need a deco, because finding good people on their own is hard, and that's when we are most valuable, and that's when we can command stronger fees. These three indicators don't move randomly. They follow a pretty predictable pattern called the business cycle. So you've got four phases. The first, expansion. GDP is growing, unemployment is falling, high placement volumes. This is the phase where we invest hard in building our candidate pipeline. Then the peak. Talent is at its own absolute scarcest, and we can charge premium fees. And for the contraction is when things slow down. Clients start freezing permanent headcounts, but that's actually when flexible and temporary staffing becomes really attractive for them. So we pivot and not panic. And then we look through the trough, we build and get ready for the recovery. Now look at that golden label, Singapore Now. We are currently in expansion. The window is open, but it won't be forever. The time is to build our pipeline right now. Okay, let's move on to topic 2 right now, the aggregate demand and supply. In 2025, the Singapore government gave a tax rebate to all tax resident individuals. And let me show you the full picture using the ADAS model. So this is the ADAS model, and I'll walk you through it. So on the left diagram, people get the tax rebate and they have more money, so they spend more. That shifts the aggregate demand curve to the right from 81 to 82. New equilibrium at E2, real GDP goes up and unemployment comes down, and the price level rises a bit. SRAS doesn't move in the short run because wages and costs are sticky, and the short run result is the economy grows. Now in the long run, on the right diagram, as the output rises above potential, workers demand high wages. That pushes firms' costs up, which shifts the SRAS back left from SRAS 1 to SRAS 2. The economy settles back at potential output, the vertical LRAS line, but at a permanent higher price level. And the summary, the tax rebate gives a real short-term boost but doesn't permanently grow the economy. In the long run, the main lasting effect is higher prices. So what does this actually mean for us? Three things. First, the short-run growth is already here. Hiring activity is increasing, especially in finance and data roles. Build our candidates pipeline now and not wait. And for the second, wage pressure is coming. Candidates will expect higher pay. And we have to tell clients that now before they set a budget that's already too low. And lastly, think about the long run. If inflation forces MAS to tighten policy, hiring could slow. And let's develop our flexible staffing products now and get ready to pivot when the cycle shifts. Now on the topic 3, tariff and trade wars. With Trump administration back in, tariffs have been all over the news. Let me explain what they actually do in the market and why that matters to us. So a tariff is basically a tax on imports. Here's what happens when you slap on one. Under free trade, green dash line, the price is low and the gap between domestic supply and demand is filled by imports. Everyone get what they need at a competitive price. At a tariff, the domestic price jumps up to the orange line. Domestic producers supply more, consumers demand less. Imports fall significantly. And the red shaded triangles, that's deadweight loss. Economic value that just gets destroyed. Nobody captures it and it's gone. So who wins and who loses? US domestic producers in protected industries win, they grab market share. The government earn tariff revenue, reshoring firms scale up local hiring. But US consumers pay more for everything. Foreign exporters get cut off, and global multinationals face a lot more cost and complexity. So what does this mean for Adecco? Honestly, trade uncertainty is actually good for our business. When companies don't know what's happening next, they get nervous about committing to permanent hires. They rather take on flexible or contract staff. And this is what we exactly do. So we should be positioning ourselves as a workforce risk management partner, not just a recruiter. There's also an opportunity for Singapore specifically. Companies restructuring away from US exposed market might look to move functions here, which is low tariff and stable environment in Singapore. New demand for finance and data talent, which is our sweet spot. Our recommendation would be to reach out proactively to clients with US exposure now before they are forced to react in a panic. And for the last topic, behavioral economics. Traditional economics assumes people are rational, but we all know that's not quite true. Behavioral economics is about understanding how people actually make decisions, and once you know the pattern, you can use them. Three biases, and all three show up in our work every single day. The first one, loss aversion. People feel pain of a loss about twice as strongly as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. So when a client is hesitating to hire, they are focused on what could go wrong, not what could go right. Same with candidates reluctant to leave their current role. So what do? Stop leading with the upside and lead with what they are losing by not acting. Every week that the seat is empty, the team is overloaded. Projects are delayed, a competitor must grab the candidate. That framing is generally more persuasive than any benefit pitch. And second, present bias. People heavily overweight things happening now versus things in the future. That's why every client say we'll sort it out next quarter, indefinitely. The recruitment fee feels very real and immediate. The productivity gain 12 months from now feels abstract. And our fix, build a simple vacancy cost calculator, show them in dollars terms what each week of delay actually costs, and make the future consequences feel present. And decisions happen a lot faster after that. And third, anchoring. Whatever number comes up first in the conversion sticks. It becomes the reference point for everything that follows. And for us, consultants should set salary anchors early and deliberately. Don't let clients or candidate throw the first number out there. Control the anchor and you control the negotiation. And let me wrap up with four things I'd like this team to actually add on. For the first, we're in expansion right now. Build finance and data candidate pipeline before the cycle turns. Second, the tax rebate is simulating the market today. Tell clients to move fast on hiring before wage inflation makes it more expensive. 3. Trade wars uncertainty is actually our friend. Lead with flexible staffing. Positions Adecco as a risk management solution. And lastly, train our consultants on loss aversion and present bias. Frame every proposal around the cost of not hiring and not the benefit of hiring. The economy doesn't stand still, and as long as we stay ahead of it, neither does Adecco. Thanks everyone.